Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. Central.
Yes.
And this is for all the folks who live all over the country and even around the world. You can find us on television locally, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and then Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And if you want to hear from a bunch of really good talk show hosts, go to this podcast right here. It's thenewscasters.com. They'll tell you the truth, whether it hurts or not. You need your own podcast.
That's the only kind of truth there is.
I'm gonna after the show, I'll talk to you about having one too.
Great.
So I'll tell you what. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
Yeah.
And we've been busy, both of us now.
We have.
Randall Ham, by the way, he's my friend, so I assume you know him too. So Randall Ham, who is also with Kairos Prison Ministry, and then you also pastor a church now.
I do. I'm the pastor now at Sandrock Methodist Church, and we're just having a ball at Sandrock.
For all of you folks out there saying, where's Sandrock?
Sandrock is kind of on top of the mountain above Leesburg in Cherokee County. So it's just a little small.
It's a beautiful area. I had to mention.
Beautiful area. It's a little small community, but I'm going to tell you, some of the sweetest, most loving people I've ever met in my life there. It's great.
So I didn't know you were pastoring a church until just very recently.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a new thing. I started the first part of November, so I've been there a little over about 6 weeks now, and just getting to know the folks there, and the Lord is just moving and doing some really great things there and growing the church. We have a house full of children.
Oh, now that means you got a live church.
Absolutely. Young families and young children and youth. And then we, of course, have the other side, which is my side, where the wisdom, the older people in the church who provide the wisdom. But it is a growing, thriving, alive church.
How do you keep kids interested? I think it's the kids more than the parents. I think if you get the kids interested, the parents are going to follow them.
They do. You know, we've got a group of people, a group of parents who handle our youth and our children who are so creative and find ways to involve the children. The children are actually involved regularly in our worship services. They do things. They're not just sitting in children's church all the time. They're not just sitting in the pews. We actively involve them in what we're doing, and it is wonderful. So they're learning. They're learning how to be a part of it.
Well, you learn a lot, and you have to know this guy. Okay, his grandkids are his life, and I can't catch up with him on that. So those kids are really growing. So you're able to incorporate what you do with those kids into the church as well.
Yes. And my grandkids. Mine and Lisa's grandkids. We're loving being grandparents. Marshall is our 4-year-old grandson, almost 4. And Emily just turned 3 back in September. She's our little redhead granddaughter, and oh my goodness, they bring us such joy.
They do nothing wrong.
Not at our house. They never do anything
their
wrong.
Their parents probably did, but the kids don't.
And you said something I think earlier about when people came to your house, everything had to be perfect, and there couldn't be any fingerprints on the windows. Not at our house. Lisa found it really cool.
I asked my mother. I said, "You're not my mother. Get out of my mother's body." Because I came to clean the sliding glass doors after Brad had made chocolate mess all over them. And she goes, "No, leave them, because I won't get to see him until..." And I'm like, "You get out of my mother's body."
Yeah, Lisa went out and found some really cool wax type crayons that are made for drawing on glass. So our sliding glass door and all.
So it doesn't matter.
They draw pictures, and then we just wipe it if we want to.
Yeah. Now, what if they got fingernail polish and put it on there?
Well, they don't. They put that on my fingers and toes.
Do I look shocked? This is a man who has run companies, but his grandkids are around, he melts.
Yep.
It was with the city council, by the way, Fort Payne. Stern, let's run the city, let's run the town, okay? And you were very good at it, but no nonsense. I mean, it was like it had to be run right.
That's right.
Grandkids are just...
They change you. They change you.
I don't have grandkids yet, but I'm hearing all my friends talk about it. It sounds like it's a blast.
It's the best thing this side of heaven.
But kids, really, out of their mind comes the truth. We talk truth matters. It really does, because you can ask a kid, "Do I look fat in this?" They'll tell you.
They absolutely will. I don't cringe, but I'm always kind of a little on edge anytime they hand a child a microphone in church.
Oh, yeah, me too. Remember the old art link letter, kids say crazy things.
That's
whatever.
right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
They will.
They will, absolutely. But yeah, Donna, the last year has been amazing. Just so many things going on in my personal life. So many things going on in ministry, in the state prisons, and in the prisons at the jail in DeKalb County. The Lord is still doing a mighty thing there. And then, of course, then stepping into this pastoral world of Sandrock, it's been a crazy year, and I've still got a full-time job.
You don't have anything else to do you?
No. Sleep, 30 minutes a day.
You know, I know how you feel. So I've known him for years. I know Randall, and so you've been involved with the prison ministry for a long time.
I have.
So I've just started getting involved with a ministry, and it's called Father's House, and it's in Geraldine.
I'm familiar with that.
And I'm gonna tell you what, they minister to me. And so I go there and we do crafts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just work with your hands, and we'll talk about that. It's like I count the minutes until I can be there. I can't wait.
Yep.
And I'll get there a little early and go, is it okay if I come here? And they will just love all over you.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm very familiar with that program. That is a
so
great
misunderstood.
program. Yes. And kind of that idea is the same thing that happens a lot of times to me when I go into the jails or when I go into St. Clair Prison. I mean, I get loved on and I get poured into by the guys who I'm supposed to be. That's it.
No, I'm supposed to be doing this.
But it's.
They'll just when I walk in the door, they'll just
yes.
parade around me. It's just
Yes.
like I'm something and I'm nothing.
Well, there's been a tremendous change in their lives. They've come from a place. They've come from a place that was just a terrible prison, and I don't mean a prison with bars. I'm talking about a prison inside their own lives, and now they're free and they're different and they're enjoying it and they're living in it. Yeah.
I asked them one day. I said, "So what does freedom mean to you?" And every one of them just smiled at me. And one of them said, "A lot of people are in prison that are not in prison." And I said, "I think I know what you mean by that. I've been that way before, like being in this corporate environment,
Yes.
and I felt like I was just in chains,
Absolutely, and I have made that statement in churches before, that some of the most free men that I know live behind bars.
It is so true.
And some of the most captive people I know, the most incarcerated people I know, are sitting in the pews of our churches on the outside.
But they kind of sometimes are imprisoned with their families.
Sure.
And it's because they've done things I've done things I shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Your family's going to remember it, but nobody else does.
Yeah.
So, but what can they do to get their families to see?
Well, and this is
Because I've been through that too.
Sure. Here's what I tell men and sometimes women, but primarily men that I work with. You didn't get where you are overnight. You built this history of an addict or of a criminal or whatever it is that you're serving time for. You built that history and it took a while. It's going to take a while to build a new history with your family. It's going to take a while for them to understand that the change is real and the change is true and that you're really trying to walk a better path. So be patient. Be patient with your family, and I say the same to the families. Be patient with this man, because it's an adjustment for him. It's a completely new life, and he's going to make mistakes. But just be patient.
I think so too. One of the ladies expressed that concern, and she's only been going to this house just for a couple of months or so. And then another lady, I didn't have to say anything, another lady who'd been there almost a year, they stayed there a year. And so she looked at her and she said, "I just looked at my family and smiled. That's all I could do." She said, because they saw me when I was at my worst.
Oh, yeah.
And I told them 1,000 times I was going to change and never did until now.
Yep.
And they will come around.
That's a start.
Yeah, well, your family's seen you with lampshades on top of your head and stuff like that. So,
My family,
literally,
yes.
But there is this redemption thing that's going on, and I feel like people who've been through a hard time like that, they're actually more apt to do better than I could ever do. I've led what you call a boring life, really.
Yeah.
Not perfect, but boring.
Yeah.
But when people see, you really wouldn't see much of a change in me.
Yeah.
But when they see that change, and there's a lady who goes to the cowboy church, this woman is nothing but joy. Her name needs to be Joy.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a friend, very
Just
similar.
bubbles out of her.
I've got a friend, very, very dear friend named Tommy Plunkett, who's I think yesterday was his 33rd year to be incarcerated down there. And I've talked, I think, with you about Tommy before, and he's the pastor of the Church of the Chosen inside the prison there. And that's him. He just bubbles out joy and love and grace and peace all over everybody. And we were talking about that one day, and he said, and I'll never forget this. He said, when I consider the grace and the mercy that God has shown me, how could I give him anything less than my all?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And that applies to us. How could we give the Lord anything less than our all? When we do that, that stuff just starts coming out of us. All those things start.
So they've been in rock bottom, though. They've been in really, really bad areas.
Yeah.
And then, like I may go to church and be in a nasty mood because I broke a fingernail or something stupid.
That's right.
And
Or you
then
get in the fight on the way to church with your husband.
No, he won't allow it.
That's good.
He won't put up with that. He won't put up with that. He just look at me and grin. So that bubbles me out of that.
Yeah.
But really, seriously, there's something that's silly, something that's just not worth being upset about.
Yeah.
But this woman has been through some really rough times, and she can make everybody in the whole church feel good.
That's right. That's right.
Because you're looking at her thinking, man, this woman has really been through a lot worse than I have.
Yep. But she's free now.
Yeah.
She's
let it go. So how do you let it go, though? I mean, because, sometimes we just hold on to bad memories and things.
We do, not just bad memories. Sometimes we hold on to things like guilt and shame. And coming from that lifestyle from earlier in my life, in my younger days, you carry that guilt and that shame on your shoulders, and it weighs you down. And that's part of what can drive you even deeper into addiction and deeper into depression and deeper into all those things. I believe it's 1 Peter 5:9 says, cast your cares upon the Lord, for he cares for you. And when we understand that we don't have to carry that shame, we don't have to carry that guilt, we don't have to carry those things anymore, it lightens the load and allows us to walk in that freedom like what we're talking about, and to have that joy and to have all those things, because we're not carrying that heavy load on our shoulders. So, and that's what these people have learned. That's what some of those places, like the Father's house, they learn there. There's another place down in Auburn called His Place, and my friend Kenny Young is really involved in that down there. And I see some of those guys coming out of there. I see them when they go in there, because I see them when they're locked up, and then I see them when they come out. And ran into a guy in Jacksonville about a year ago, and I didn't recognize him. He started talking to me, and then he told me who he was, and I was just shocked, because he didn't.
His whole presence.
His whole countenance, his whole presence was different from getting rid of all those burdens and walking in the freedom that comes from his relationship with Christ. And it was crazy.
Is this one in Opelika, Auburn, Kim Hagen's?
Yes.
Okay, Kim and I went to school together.
Yeah. Unbelievable program.
Oh man, Kim is something else. So Kim she's from California, so she comes to Geraldine the same year I come from Oxford, and we weren't from there, so we became instant friends. California girl, but I want to tell you why she's. I always thought of her being where she is now. She actually started the prayer program at Geraldine High School. She began that, and they still have it going on.
Yeah. That's crazy. I think they've got a group right now from His Place down in Mexico, doing some ministry in Mexico, and I think that's just amazing that they're not so firmly planted that they can't go into other places in the world to do what they do, because they do such a great job of it. It's an amazing program.
And sometimes if you start a program, you need to move away from where you're from.
Yeah.
And go somewhere else. Jesus had to do that.
Well, yeah, he did. He had time to. He moved around.
He sort of had to. So we're talking a little bit about redemption. And I know when I've done dumb things, and I have, everybody has, but I would hold my own self accountable, like I've just beat myself to death, when God has already said, I've forgiven you, dummy. Why do you keep on with this? I mean, why are you insisting on beating yourself up? How can you, and usually it's somebody who's a perfectionist or somebody who's, that you own a business and you just got to have things running a particular way. And I still got that in me,
Mhm.
even though, I'm not as bad as I used to be. I'm much better than I used to be.
That's good to
Randall.
know. That is good to
I used
know.
to be really bad. But holding on to things like that, it only hurts us.
It does. It does. Understanding forgiveness and understanding forgiving yourself. That's a big thing. And again, that's another thing that I struggled with for a lot of years, was forgiving myself for all the people I'd hurt, for my parents who I'd hurt all those years. And even though I knew that I had asked forgiveness from God and He had forgiven me, I couldn't forgive myself. I wouldn't forgive myself.
Is it your way of kind of proving something that you did something bad?
I don't really know. You just carry that around because you always want to make it right. And if you forgive yourself, then you have to stop trying to make it right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I heard a guy one time, and I think I've shared this with you before. I heard a guy, a pastor, say, when you fail to forgive yourself after you've asked God for forgiveness, what you're saying in effect is that your opinion of you is more important than God's opinion of you. And,
I didn't think about it that way.
yeah, I mean,
That's a great point.
so that was one thing that helped me to forgive myself, and to move on from those things and not be chained down by them, because they will absolutely chain you down.
And you're not freedom.
No, you don't have freedom, and you end up walking with a limp. Because you're crippled.
And you can't concentrate. And so Phil and I, this is our second year, we're going all the way back through the Proverbs again, because I need all the wisdom I can get. I mean, I want all that help. And so we're going through several of the verses, and it says that, in essence, it's just, you're not able to do anything. You can't have your place in life, basically, I'm paraphrasing, if you don't rid yourself of that.
Yes.
You've been forgiven. Stop.
Yep, that's exactly right. That is exactly right. And another thing and this is something I actually shared with the men at the DeKalb County Jail last night. Excuse me. When you're bearing that burden, and when you're bearing that guilt, and you're looking at yourself like you're terrible because you did that, you can't love yourself. And people sometimes look at you funny. Look at me funny when I say you need to love yourself.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm not supposed to love. Yes, you are supposed to love yourself. Because Jesus said it very, very plainly in the second of the greatest commandment. He said, first, love the Lord God with all you have. I'm paraphrasing. The Lord God with everything you have. And the second is like it, love your neighbors as yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I hate myself, I'm not going to love my neighbors.
I can't love my neighbors.
Uh-huh.
Because if I hate me, I may not hate my neighbors, but might as well be.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that was an experience I walked through. When I forgave myself, began to love myself, I began to love others better.
Mm-hmm.
I began to be able to love the way God intended me to love, not with my love, but with the love He poured through me. And so it's important. So you just gotta shed yourself of all that stuff.
We talked about that at the Father's house. And so what we do is we'll have some kind of a craft. And so what we're going to do next month, the girls can't wait, and I can't wait either. We're going to get old tin and copper. And we're going to get potato chips, and you're going to be a little weird.
I'm all about potato chips.
You can't eat them.
Oh.
So you can't eat them. So what we're going to do, it's going to be a pretty piece of copper. It's going to be all pretty and shiny. And so what we're going to do, we're going to get vinegar and salt and old potato chips. So we're going to put the copper on top of the old potato chips, and then we're going to get just sprinkle salt on it, and then white vinegar, just the cheap white vinegar. And we're going to wait 24 hours, and you're going to open up the box. You got to have the box closed. We're going to open up the box, and we're going to see how beautiful this copper looks. It does it overnight. It's a speed process.
Wow.
I've made all kinds of jewelry doing that. So the girls and I are going to do this coming month, and in January. It'll be, you don't know what it's going to be. It's like opening up a present on Christmas. It could be red tone colors, or it could be turquoisey. It could be blue.
I've never heard of that. That is so cool.
So what they do, I'll say, now you're going to make two pieces of jewelry. The first one's going to be for you.
Mm-hmm.
We want you good.
Right.
So that you can help others. Then you're going to give the other piece away.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we've been doing.
That's so amazing.
But I can't wait. So they were freaking out when they saw a pair of earrings I had, and there were this like weird colors, just psychedelic looking. You can tell I'm aging myself. The '60s psychedelic stuff, and it was just this
Groovy.
beauty. I dig it. I really do. So it was so pretty, and they just went nuts. And I said, that's what we'll do next month. And they said, we can do that. And I said, it's going to be a pretty, now it looks pretty as copper because it's real pretty and it's really shiny. It looks even more beautiful when it's set.
I bet they are excited.
I can't even wait. So it's like I'm counting the days until we can be together because it's one of my joy, like your joy. I saw the joy you had through all those years when you say you're going to Kairos Prison Ministry. And to update everybody, in case this is the first time you ever saw the show, Randall and I knew each other from business. Okay, so he wants to come on the show and talk about the prison ministry. And I'm like, oh boy, let's hurry and get this over with. Can't wait to get this over with. I'm thinking it's going to be this depressing show and all this kind of stuff. And the way he bubbles over with joy, and you've heard me say this 10,000 times, so this is what he said. He said, even you, I mean, any of us could be in this position they're in right now if you just been with the wrong crowd, if you had zigged and didn't zag when you should have. Anybody could be in that. So it's not good to be snobby about it.
That's right. One decision away.
I could have easily, and I got to thinking about that. I thought, man, he just went like that. He shot me in the head with that one. But I'm glad you said it.
Yeah.
And you said it because you love me as a friend.
Absolutely.
I think you probably saw us being a little snobby.
I actually didn't. For some, I don't know why that bubbled up. Maybe the Holy Spirit thought you were being snobby. I don't know.
I was trying to be nice. I was looking at you going, can we hurry up and get over this? And then you said that, and I was like, whoa, that is absolutely right. Because I have a cousin who was in a car accident, and he was with a group of people. He wasn't drinking, but they were. Well, they had a car accident. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got killed or anything like that, but they all got arrested, and he got arrested too. And I remember his parents talking about that. You were in with the wrong crowd, son.
That's it. That's exactly right. You know, and you know, I have met so many really amazing men in prison and in jail who are incarcerated, and they're not bad people. They're not bad men. They made bad decisions, or they put themselves in a situation that there was no good way out of. And so many times it was because of the people they were around and because of the influence that was around them. So,
and I could have done that just as easy as they did.
I did. You know, I did, and that's how my life ran in the ditch for so many years. So it can happen, and it can happen before you know it. And that's why it's so important.
He's a great example because he is so happy. I mean, you got a wonderful wife.
Oh, yes.
Lisa.
Yes.
Hey, Lisa.
Yes. Hi, Lisa. Yeah. Yes. You know, she loves me in spite of me sometimes.
Feels the same way with me. I'm pretty sure they could get good and share stories.
Oh, let's not let that happen. Especially not on air or anything like that.
Let it go, please. But you got such a happy life.
Yeah.
And just think about, because you were redeemed, think about the happy life you got now. Yeah. So we're going to have to go into a commercial break.
Okay.
And time always flies by. That's the show already. Yes. So let's talk about that, about redemption. For the person who thinks I'm stuck, I'm never, ever going to have a life. It's just never going to happen. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
Sounds good.
Y'all hang in there. We'll be right back.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
My Towels solved the problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores and they feel lotiony and soft, but then you get them home and they wind dry you. That's why I made My Towels. They actually work, they're soft, and they absorb. And now I'm excited to announce 2 brand new lines of My Towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Shapir cotton. This is a combed ring spun cotton that makes My Towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sale price as low as $29.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get My Towels for only $29.98. Or you can get my designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% now on all My Towels. They actually work. What a concept. This offer won't last long, so please order now.
MyPillow.com.
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching Monday through Friday, from starting at 1 p.m. Central Time, as we get to come home with you in the afternoon, and truth does matter. So that's all part of it as well. We're at the Gadsden Mall.
Yes, we are.
I love the Gadsden Mall. And, there's just something about Christmas time at the Gadsden Mall, Mother's Day, all the, Valentine's Day. But see, I don't like cold weather, and it's really cold outside. So I don't like to shop that much, but when I do shop, I like to go to a mall setting because I don't have to get in and out of the car where it's freezing cold like it has been the past few days.
I have so many wonderful memories over the years from this mall, from Christmas shopping, and just on a Saturday afternoon, well, let's just go to the mall and walk around. And you might not even buy anything, but you walk around and it's just the environment. And I have, when I was walking up here to find you, it was just like, wow, there's so many memories here.
It is, and they're now at 100% capacity.
That's amazing.
So that is amazing because
Yes.
a lot of malls aren't doing that well. But now Kaylee is the mall manager and
Right.
she's on it.
Sounds like it.
And I'll have to tell you, even the restrooms are clean. I got to say that for the women. Okay, there's a lot of public restrooms you don't want to go into. So you got to fix your hair and all that kind of stuff. So I was in, and there was a lady she was cleaning everything up in the mall this morning, and I said, "Hey, you're doing an amazing job." And she is. I mean, she said, "Well, I don't want it dirty in here." And I said, "Well, it's nice. It's really nice." And the people who are working, all of the store people, I'm meeting all of them. They're all wonderful folks. Real friendly.
Well, I go a lot of places traveling for my day job, and you're right. Lots of places I go, you see empty and abandoned malls, and it's really great to see the Gadsden Mall thriving that way.
The mayor here is an awesome guy too.
Yeah.
He's a real good guy too. John Merrill was my first guest, and so he said, I heard you're going to Gadsden," and I said, "Yeah." I said, "I got a contract with Gadsden Mall," and he said, "I'm gonna be your first guest." And I said, "All right, man. All right, you're the first guest." So he was. And so he's friends with the mayor, too. So he gave him an excuse to come here.
John's a great guy and a dear friend of mine. And
He's running the city good. Yeah. And I wanted to say one more thing. You don't have to worry about it. This is a safe mall. I've been in some malls, especially when we're living in Charlotte, not knocking my Charlotte friends, but there were some I wouldn't go to in the daytime, let alone at night.
Yeah.
And this is safe because Kaylee won't put up with riffraff. She just doesn't.
Well, that just all that does is enhance the people's experience that are here to enjoy it and to shop and do those things. Exactly. To come and see a movie or to do whatever they're doing, and that feeling of safety, especially in the world we live in today, is a big deal.
A weird world.
Weird is putting it lightly.
Well, I'll just have to tell you.
Truth matters.
Kaylee, truth matters. Kaylee, I wouldn't mess with her now.
Yeah.
If I'm a thug, I'm not gonna mess with her.
Yeah.
All right. So she won't put up with it. So if your family would like to go to the mall, you can feel safe to do that now.
Very good.
Absolutely. Randall Ham is with me right now. We're catching up.
We have been. This is just like old hometown.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, absolutely. So you pastor a church now.
I do. I'm the new pastor at Sandrock Methodist Church in Sandrock, Alabama, and that's just a stone throw away from Leesburg, which people are probably more familiar with.
Not too far here from Gadsden either.
Absolutely not. No. Maybe 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes.
If you're looking for a church and you're new in this area, you might want to check them out. Because I know Randall. I mean,
well, I'll tell you what. It is the most loving, kind, committed group of folks that I've been around in a long time, and it makes pastoring them just a joy and a pleasure. And like I was telling you earlier, we're flush with children. I mean, we had our hanging of the green service the end of November, leading into Advent, and I think we had. Now, this is a church where there's about 50 or so regular in attendance. We had 25 or so kids.
That's grand.
Unbelievable.
That means you got a live church.
We do. Live.
Worry about churches who don't have kids in them.
I have been to many in my previous role as a fill-in, as a lay speaker, going around to different churches and filling in. I've stepped into many churches who just didn't have that vibrant feel, that vibrant air with families and young families and children, and that's not to say anything about the older generation. They are so committed, but if you don't have that life in the church, the church is probably not going to survive unless something changes. So I was talking with a pastor friend of mine yesterday, and he said, "Well, man, you hit the lottery." And I was like, "I did. I hit the church lottery. Absolutely, I did." And so, Sandrock Methodist Church is just a great place, and we'd welcome anyone who is in the area, lives in the area, or even just visiting the area. A lot of people come to Weiss Lake.
Under the water and all that.
Find your way to Sandrock Methodist Church, and I guarantee you're gonna get loved on. We're gonna teach you so many ways. You're gonna like one of them for sure.
And I say this about Lisa: she's the perfect pastor's wife.
She is. She
Loving
is that loving and
loves
wise. She's so wise, and I've said that about her so many times, and she continues to be my wisdom and the one that I lean on, and the one who sets me straight when I get off track too. Now, she will bring things to my attention that I don't see, sometimes in my own life, and I'm thankful for that.
Well, women don't know. Oh, they'll notice things a lot of you guys don't notice.
You think?
You know? Of course, she's feeling me this other way around. But it's so important for a pastor's wife to be that way, and you guys have this relationship where you can.
That's exactly right. We are truly one, and
that's really good for other people out in the congregation to see.
We modeled, we tried when our children were growing up, we tried to model that for them because we wanted that for them. When they grew up and got married and had their own families. And, we've got, all three are married now. And all three have just.
So when they all three got married, did you go, yes?
Not really. No. It wasn't a yes
They're
like that.
out of the house.
It wasn't a yes like
I bet
that.
you noticed the grocery bill went down.
Oh,
really
yeah. Yeah, things changed
I didn't like
drastically.
turn cartwheels or
Yeah.
anything when Brad got married, but I've got an awesome daughter-in-law, and she comes with a package.
Yep, absolutely. But it did, and I've shared this with folks before, Donna. Over the last few years, my family was kind of dwindling. My immediate family was kind of dwindling, and there weren't a whole lot of us left. But over the last 3 or 4 years, 5 years, my family has just grown.
All these people
and
are
grown.
coming in.
And yes,
That's a great thing.
extended family, and I'm just so thankful for it. So.
So you and I are kind of at the age now where we can be kind of like our grandparents. Our grandparents were they weren't the rulers or anything like that, but they were the fixtures.
Mhm.
And we always felt like they kept the whole family together. And then when they both passed away, it's like people started dwindling and going separate ways.
Yeah, and it's,
Now you get the whole thing together.
That's it. That's exactly right. And we take that on as our role to kind of to try to be that
The baton
wisdom.
got passed on to you.
It did.
That's a great
It did.
baton.
You just have to make sure you're ready for it. And part of that is being one, and being that model. So we're very blessed that our three sons saw that and received it, and they're doing those things in their own marriage and in their own families, and it's just so fun.
That's
to
a beautiful
watch.
thing to see.
It just gives us such great joy. We've got some of the best daughters-in-laws on the face of the planet, and grandkids.
That's what I say about my daughter-in-law. If Brad ever does something stupid, she's going to be us. Which is not going to happen. He cherishes her.
Yeah.
But you have to raise your kids to cherish their spouse. I mean,
You do.
That's the
You
biblical
do.
way too.
It is biblical, and there's several places in Scripture that talk about that, and it's very important. And if you'll base it on that, if you'll base it on a husband being the spiritual leader, leading in a good way, being surrendered to the Lord is important. I don't know if we want to go down this road or not, but some husbands will take the scripture that says, "Wives, submit to your husbands," and they use that as a weapon. They forget afterwards.
Well, Jesus cherishes us.
Absolutely, he
In
does.
spite of my faults.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we should absolutely, as husbands, we should lead, and we should cherish our wives. And by the same token, wives should cherish their husbands. And
you're going to find this really strange. I've said this before. And your eyes were like as big as saucers. I think the man should be the head. I think the man should be the head of the house.
Well, that's biblical. It is biblical. Now,
I've shocked a few people by saying
can-
that.
you
For some
can-
reason, they thought I didn't.
that can be taken too far. Again, like I say, some guys use that as a weapon. But if you really hold true to what Scripture tells us about that,
Well, that leaves
there
us
has
time
to
to do
be a
what
leader.
we've got to do.
there has to be a leader. Someone has to lead. Now, and there's a lot of times where Lisa and I, we collaborate. We make decisions together.
too.
But there's sometimes when the husband just needs to make a decision, or
Well,
needs
what
to
do you
set a
say to
direction.
there are some men, and I've met some of them, and they want their wife pinned down at home all the time. She can't work, and he tells her how much money. Now, if you're like some people I know, then you've overspent. I can see why the guy would have to kind of pin you down to a budget. And I get that the budget is fine, but what do you say to the ones who say, no, she's got to stay at home. I've got to pin her down like that. In the last chapter of Proverbs, that woman was a businesswoman. While her husband sat out in the gate, she sold him.
You know, I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to say it this way. If a man holds his wife under his thumb like that, he is not receiving the full benefit and the full blessing of what God has given him.
Because she
the
could be
gift.
a beautiful flower.
I'm telling you, and when I say things like Lisa is my wisdom, I mean that, and it's because I listen to her, because she's smart.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've shared with you before this.
Say, hey, Bubbles, over tells about Lisa.
this kind of 5-part thing that I did a while back, based on a seminar that I sat in called "How to Completely Understand Your Wife." I think I've talked to you about that before, and it's a lesson for men. It's a 5-part lesson for men on truly how to completely understand
because
your
we're
wife,
kind of a different species,
based on how God designed her,
mm-hmm.
not based on what we think, not based on our ideas, but based on what God's design for a wife and woman was.
And I've kind of felt that I found that God's ideas are a lot better than mine.
Yeah, sometimes the
Mine are
hard
messed
way and
up.
sometimes the easy way.
But I mean, it's by design.
It is.
And it's like, and I've seen people have like business ideas and they want to write a book about it when somebody else has already written a really good book about this business idea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why am I going to spend the time to write one when somebody else has written one and it's like a best-selling book?
Right.
God's already written it, so why
Yes.
do we have to mess over it?
Well, and I think we find if we really pay close attention when we go against His design for things, chaos ensues.
Man, I mess up every single time.
If we
Every time I can look back on my life and think about, this is when I wanted to do it my way, didn't work out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's pretty smart.
Yeah, much more than I'll ever be. More than I'll ever be. But again, and then you've got young couples in your church.
We do.
And so they're led by your example. You guys are not even really saying anything. People know.
You can give a much better example by the way you live your life than any words you speak. Words are cheap, and you can say anything you want to say. It's what people see. It's what people see in your actions, and in your life, and in your walk, and in your marriage, and in your relationships, and how you treat people. And that's one of the beauties about Santa Rock Methodist is, yes, we have all these younger families, but we have some older families, older men and women who have been married for many, 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 many years, mm-hmm. who are still setting that example. Mm-hmm. They didn't get the job done with their children and then just say, okay, we're done. No, they continue to set that example every single day, so that the young couples there can see what marriage is supposed to look like after you've been married for 50 years.
I used to watch my grandparents holding hands.
I love that.
And I thought that was the most awesome thing. Yep. My grandparents once had been married 67 years when my granddad passed away. They still held hands.
That's it.
And I would say, Mama, do you ever get mad at Papa? She'd say, yeah, it's not around you.
There you go. There you go.
She'd say, yeah, there's communication. There's always going to be a breakdown.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Let's talk about kids, because kids are going through this rough time at school. I mean, it's where they're trying to confuse kids, like to even not know what gender they are. Those things kids are. And so let me ask you this pointed question, okay? Because I feel I had to be nosy. Even though my son really didn't get into much trouble or anything like that, I just wanted to know who his friends were. I would do a spot check in his room. Just, I wasn't find anything, but I just wanted him to be aware that just any time I could do that. Mm-hmm. Is it okay to be a nosy parent and find out what's going on in your schools and what are being taught? If
you're not being a nosy parent, you're not being the parent you need to be. Because you're right, there are things that are being taught in school mm-hmm. that
we're good.
That
it's unbelievable.
That are lies, that are heresy. They're not teaching the things they should be teaching. Mm-hmm. When was the last time you heard of a kid having a civics class where they learn about our government, how it operates in the three branches?
I was going to say, most people, even adults, don't know what the three branches of government are.
Yeah. So, you look at that and you think, those things seem just normal to us back when we were in school. Those were the things that you were going to learn, because those were foundational things. and so many of those things are being replaced with this diversity and inclusion and all this stuff that they're pushing in some of the schools, and it's just not good, because it confuses these young people. Their
You got to have a
minds,
good foundation.
their brains are not fully developed, so they don't have the ability to discern and to reason what's true and what's false. And sometimes they'll just listen to what an adult tells them, no matter what the adult tells them. And that's not their fault. It's just that they're not to that place in their physical maturity yet of the way their brain functions to know any better. So if we're not understanding what's being taught, if we're not taking part in that and making sure that they're getting the truth and that they're getting the foundational things, well, we're missing the mark as parents or grandparents.
Well, you know something, and I think I've told you about this. I got really upset when Brad, it was in the 90s. So Brad comes in from school with a note, and it said he needed a calculator from his teacher. And I'm thinking he's messing with me. He just wants
a calculator.
because he wants a calculator so he can cheat on math. And so I actually represented the school of Geraldine in a math contest one time, county-wise. So I'm into you do it through your head.
Sure.
That's how it was. So we were told, Dr. Runyon was my math teacher, and he said, if I catch anybody with a calculator in class, you will be expelled. I mean, it was that serious. So I said, I'm going to call you teacher. Because I'm thinking if he's lying to me, he's going, not really, Mom, I'm just messing with you or whatever. And I said, just sit there, okay, call her. So I called her and I said, I got this note here. Is this from you or did his girlfriend write this? That he has to have a calculator. She said, yeah, Donna, he has to have a calculator. I said, that's cheating. That upset me to no end. I don't know what I would do if I had a kid in school now.
I remember 3 words so clearly from every math class I ever took in school. Show your work. We don't want just the answer. We want to know that you know how to get the answer.
How'd you go there?
There you go.
And of course, I know this is like 1,000 years ago, but when I was in school, if you did something to disrupt class, you would have to write sentences on the board too. I bet they don't do that anymore.
I bet they don't either. I remember in 2nd grade, I was a 2nd grader at Fort Payne. 2nd grade with the task of writing 500 sentences.
What'd you do?
I wrote them.
Yeah, what'd you do to get to that point?
We were talking. I think we were talking in the lunch line or something like that. But, things were just so different back then,
Oh, they were. And back in those days, your teacher would talk to your parents.
Back in those days, your teacher would whack you with a yardstick.
I don't think I ever got it badly, but I was scared to death. One time I had to, and what happened is someone passed away in the family. So on the intercom said, go to the office. I'm thinking, what did I do? I didn't do anything. I didn't know that somebody had passed away. So I went to Mr. Lovern's office. I went to Friendship Elementary School in Oxford. Cheal Acres out that area. And so Mr. Lovern, there was my dad standing there, and I thought, oh, I'm really in trouble.
I'm fixing to get 2 whippings.
And I was thinking, I can't remember doing anything. But anyway, there was this respect though that, Mr. Lovern, you'd see, and nobody ever called him Lovern, or nobody ever called him by his first name. It was Mr. Lovern.
Yeah.
Do you think we've done that? We want to be friends with them and hang and all this kind of stuff. Do you feel like that might have put a stumbling block in some ways of being respectful?
I think the idea of consequences has been taken out.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think there's a generation who in so many cases, because their parents don't allow consequences, they think they can do whatever they want to do without any consequences, and it's been proven out that you can just act any way you want to act, and nothing's going to happen for it. And that, that's been so damaging for our society and for our people. Just that generation is going to be different, because the bottom line is there are consequences in life, and if you don't have that understanding early, it's going to be hard. Your life is going to be hard.
Randall,
and you're going to end up seeing me in jail. I'm going to end up coming in visiting you in jail. That's it.
I've seen so many people be disrespectful to their parents and their grandparents. And see, my parents, it wasn't a happy marriage they had. And so I remember there are people who prey on girls in school like that. They say, you must be having a bad family life. So someone approached me about buying drugs one time.
Mhm.
First thing I saw was both my grandmother's faces. I thought, I don't want to disappoint them.
Yep.
And so I didn't do it.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Gosh, but they begged me to do it. No, I didn't want them crying.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
did have a cousin who was in drugs, and I remember one of my grandmothers would just cry and pray, and
Oh,
I thought, I don't ever want to disappoint her like that.
You know, I was so blessed, Donna, that when I went through that period of my life, that my parents lived long enough to see it turn around.
Me too.
You know, that they didn't pass away still crying at night
Yeah.
because one of their kids was in that. And you know, I thank God for that so many times, because, you know, especially now that I'm a parent, I know what that feels like to see your child struggle or be in a situation. None of our children have had that issue.
The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park, and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors, and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
My towels solved the problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores and they feel lotiony and soft, but then you get them home and they wind dry you. That's why I made my towels. They actually work, they're soft, and they absorb. And now I'm excited to announce 2 brand new lines of my towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Shapir cotton. This is a combed ring spun cotton that makes my towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sale price as low as $29.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get my towels for only $29.98. Or you can get my designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% now on all my towels. They actually work. What a concept. This offer won't last long, so please order now.
MyPillow.com.
Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319 and let's think of the possibilities.